This video shows you how to define and use operating profiles for people, lighting, and equipment loads in CHVAC. We have not yet defined any operating profiles in this project, but once we do, we will select our default operating profiles for the project here on the General Project Data window. Since we have not yet defined any operating profiles, the drop-down help shows blank descriptions and all C values for every hour. The value of C represents 100%, meaning no reduction in the load. To define our operating profiles, click the O button in the toolbar. Let's make profile number 1 for people and name it All People. There will only be cooling loads due to people during the business's office hours, which are from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And during the hours 11 a.m. and 12 p.m., only 70% of the people will be in the office. Before 7 a.m., there will typically be no people load in the building, so we have entered 0 for those hours. From 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., all the people will be in the office, so we will leave those inputs at the value C to represent 100% of the load. At 11 a.m. and 12 p.m., some people leave the building, so the people load drops to 70%. Then at 1 p.m., the people load goes back to 100%. From 7 p.m. to 12 a.m., the people load goes back to 0. Now let's enter an operating profile for office lighting. Name this profile Office Lighting. The office lighting will typically be at 20% of its full load while the business is closed and at 100% during the hours from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now we'll enter a profile for the office equipment load. Let's name this profile Office Equipment. The office equipment will typically be at 30% of the full load while the business is closed and at 100% while it's open. We've only entered 3 profiles for this project, but CHVAC lets you use up to 10 profiles in a project, which means you can have multiple profiles of each type. We need to select our default operating profiles for the project, so click the G button in the toolbar to bring up the General Project Data window. Click the drop-down Help button beside the People Operating Profile input. The drop-down help for these inputs has been updated to show the data that we entered on the Operating Profiles window. Select the All People profile that we defined earlier. Now let's select the profile for lighting that we defined earlier. And let's also select our profile for equipment. Now let's look at the operating profile inputs on the Air Handler data window. We can see that at the air handler level, the default operating profiles we entered for the project show up in the 0 goes to gray boxes. Now let's take a look at these same inputs on the room data window. Click the Main tab. Since we're leaving the operating profile inputs on this window all at 0, the operating profiles that will be used for the room are the ones we selected on the General Project Data window. Thanks for watching.